All right, what's happening, everybody? It's your man Keenan. Welcome to the Sports News Insider College Football Blog. Earthquake shattered across the nation during Week 12 of the college football season, in which 4 of the top 10 teams fell in the BCS rankings, starting the Big 12 Conference with 2 of the biggest upsets this season. Number 2, Oklahoma State loses to Iowa State 37-31 in double overtime. Iowa State forced Oklahoma State to have 5 turnovers in this matchup, and that was the key factor in this game. If Oklahoma State did not commit so many turnovers, Oklahoma State would have definitely won this game and gave the Cowboys an undefeated chance of making it to the national championship. But now the chances are probably ruined to make it to that BCS championship game. But anything can happen later on in the season. We had a lot of upsets today. Now they're going to play Oklahoma at the season finale, and Oklahoma lost to number 22 Baylor 45-38 due to the impressive efforts from quarterback Robert Griffin III. 479 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. He has been playing impressively, and during each year of his college football career, he has improved as a passer. He's definitely on my watch list as quarterbacks for this year's NFL draft coming up. And I'll keep you posted going towards the end of the season of college football. He had a spectacular game, and he was obviously this week's player of the week. But I have to talk about Coach Bob Stoops about this game. There was a couple of bad choices that he made during this matchup, especially that timeout going towards the end of the game on special teams. I don't really think he should have made that decision. I think he should have conserved the time just a little bit better and used time management just a little bit better in this matchup. But either way, the Oklahoma defense did not play well in this matchup, still giving up 45 points, and that should never happen against Baylor Bears. Baylor is a good, decent team, but I don't think that they should have posted that many points against a good Oklahoma defense who has been falling apart lately, and I think they could have did a lot better in this matchup. But overall, for the Big 12 Conference, Oklahoma is still alive to win the Big 12 championship. They just have to win out for the rest of the season. And as for Oklahoma State, all they have to do is beat Oklahoma in the season finale. Or if Oklahoma loses in the week before the game, their game at the end of the season. If Oklahoma loses one of the 2 games that they have left, Oklahoma State will win the Big 12 championship. Headed into the Pac-12, another major upset. USC beat Oregon 38-35. Oregon was ranked 4th in the nation, had a good running game, good quarterback in Darren Thomas, but they fell short coming towards the end of the game. USC was actually pummeling on them, killing them for most of the game, but in the second half, Oregon ended up clawing their way back to up to 35 points, but missed the final field goal as time expired at the end of the game, giving the Trojans a 3-point victory. Now, I have to talk about Matt Barkley a little bit because he's an impressive quarterback. 323 yards passing and a couple of scores. Now, if it wasn't for Andrew Luck, I believe that Matt Barkley would be the quarterback that everybody will be talking about in the Pac-12 conference. Now, with this loss for Oregon, it is still not over for them to make it to that Pac-12 championship. They still break the tiebreaker against Stanford. All they have to do is beat Oregon State this week coming up, and I'll keep you guys posted on that key matchup. If they lose, Stanford will represent the north of the Pac-12 and make it to that championship matchup. Now, talking about the Pac-12 South, USC is actually the front runner, but they're ineligible to play due to NCAA violation. They have been suspended, and they're not bowl eligible as well this season, which means UCLA is right behind them, and all UCLA has to do is beat USC at the end of the season, and they will represent the Pac-12 South and play whoever is representing the North between Oregon and Stanford. But if UCLA loses to USC, that means there will be a 3-way tie if Arizona State and Utah respectfully win their matches. If there's a 3-way tie, the BCS system is going to have to take a punch in. The computers have to generate who has the best overall schedule, who's the better team, and that team will represent the South for the Pac-12 championship. We still got a couple of big games left before conference championship games, and I'm just so excited to see what happens. I'm going to go to the Big Ten Conference. There was a big matchup between Michigan and Nebraska. Michigan State really need Michigan to win this game, and Michigan overwhelmed the Nebraska defense 45-17 due to a great mojo effort from quarterback Denard Robinson. He's starting to get his mojo back now. For the past couple of weeks, he has been struggling, but for this week, he's been showing his skills and displaying his ability that we've seen last season. 83 yards rushing, 2 scores, as well as 2 touchdown passes. But I believe that the star of this matchup was Fitzgerald Toussaint, the running back for the Wolverines. He had 138 yards slashing his way through that Nebraska defense and a score himself. He's showing that he's going to to be the premier back for Brady Hoke and the Michigan Wolverines. He had a great matchup. Now, this helped out Michigan State so much because they won the Legends Division title based on their win over Indiana as well. They beat Indiana 55-3, and with the Michigan beating on Nebraska, they gave Michigan State the notch over and winning that Legends Division and making it to the Big Ten championship. Now, the team that they're going to wait for that game is between Penn State and Wisconsin for this week, and I'll keep you posted on that. Going into those key matchups, Penn State finally got their first win ever since that sex scandal with Jerry Sandusky. They beat Ohio State 20-14. Great defensive effort, and they will play Wisconsin this week. Wisconsin beat Illinois on 28-17. Now, I have to give some ups to running back Monte Ball, scoring his 30th touchdown, the 5th player to ever score 30 touchdowns in a season. He's having a great year, and he is definitely going to make Big Ten All-First Team, because off Big Ten First Team, due to his efforts, and this is going to be a great matchup between Penn State and Wisconsin to see who's going to represent that Leaders Division and face Michigan State for the Big Ten Championship. I'm going to head to the ACC now. Virginia Tech had a scare against North Carolina. They ended up beating them 24-21. Logan Thomas had a great game, accounted for 3 touchdowns, leading the Hokies to the 10th victory this season. Now, they were expecting Florida State to beat Virginia this past weekend in order for Virginia Tech to earn that Coastal Division championship and making it to that ACC championship against Clemson. But Virginia had different plans against Florida State, shocking them 14-13 in Tallahassee. It was a great game, and the thing I love about this Virginia team is that they showed a lot of heart in this game, especially in the third quarter. And the play of the game was by cornerback Chase Minifield when he ran down Burt Reed, the wide receiver for Florida State, to a 68-yard gain, stopping him from scoring a touchdown, running him down. And at the end of that drive, Florida State only came up with a field goal, leading 13-7 before the final drive for Virginia, in which it was orchestrated perfectly by quarterback Michael Rocco. 75 yards in 5 plays in just 37 seconds as the Cavaliers pulled off the 1-point victory. It was a great game, and the game between Virginia Tech and Virginia is going to decide the Coastal Division champion of the ACC and face Clemson for the ACC championship. Now, speaking of Clemson, they got rocked by NC State 37-13. They had nothing going offensively. This is not the same Clemson team that we've seen for the past earlier in the season, where they were making good comebacks, making good connection, throwing the football. Taj Boyd has been struggling lately, having a hard time against Wake Forest. They lost to Georgia Tech, and now they lost to NC State. These are just some tough losses, and they really need to get their act together before that ACC championship. Remember when I told everybody that Clemson is known for screwing up their season? Well, they're screwing up their season, but they still have time to bounce back and regenerate their confidence before that ACC championship, because they have their rivalry matchup against South Carolina this weekend, and I'll keep you posted on that match. If they win that game, they build their confidence before that ACC championship. They might have a chance of getting getting the ACC title, getting that crown for over Virginia Tech or Virginia. I'm going to head to the Big East now. Now we have a 5-way tie ever since the Cincinnati-Rutgers game. Cincinnati couldn't get anything going on the offensive side, and they showed that they are nothing without quarterback Zach Collaros. He is that valuable to the team. Only had 3 points against Rutgers as Rutgers beat them 20-3. They really needed Zach Collaros. And now in the Big East, there's a 5-way tie between Louisville, Cincinnati, West Virginia, Pitt, and Syracuse, I believe. Syracuse. And all these teams, I'm sorry, in Rutgers, not Syracuse, but Rutgers. But this is an interesting conference because it's going to be hard to actually come up with a scenario of who will win the Big East championship. But I'll keep you guys posted on that. We still got a couple weeks left, like the backyard brawl between West Virginia and Pittsburgh this week. I'll tell you about that game later on in this week. Overall this week, I had a terrible week as my record. 5-7. My overall record now is 109-48, just under 70%, 69.5%. I'm going to get better and get my act together this week. Hopefully, I get some good picks. Now, for this week coming up, it's the beginning of the rivalry weeks between some of the biggest rivalries in college football. Florida State and Florida. I already mentioned Virginia Tech. These are going to be some great matches. And throughout the whole entire week, especially for the top 25 teams, I'm going to give you a preview of all of those key matches. Now, I'm going to catch you guys a little bit later today to give you a second video about the BCS standings. From Sports News Insider, I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.